Okay, this one's really simple, but this is just a little micro leech that I tie with strung marabou, and there is nothing simpler to tie than what I'm going to tie right now. So it's a maroon, reddish maroon marabou that actually I get Superfly to dye out for me a specific color, but there's stuff that's very close to this on the market. So this is a little fly that I never had a name for it, but my friends ended up naming it, and so we call it BMW. So it's Brian's Maribou Wiggler. That's what my friends call it, because everybody uses it now. But it's so simple to tie, yet so effective, and it takes advantage of the fact that marabou breathes and pulses when you twist it and wind it on for a body, which I'm sure many of you already use that technique. But I think it's just the color combination and the way you fish it. This is a deadly fly to fish under an indicator, and I use it every day I'm on the water. I'll try it.
Stained or clear water?
Pardon me?
Stained or clear water? Or?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So I'm just taking a number 12 scud hook, a C49S, and I'm using a 7/64 tungsten gold bead. I want some weight on this fly. So after debarbing the hook, I just slide the bead on, like so. Get her into the vise, and just, you know, you can use, doesn't matter, black or red tying thread, I don't think it matters. And I'll tie this all the way down to using as small as a 16 hook, stud hook as well. But overall, this is the size I like to use most commonly. And I'll just put a little small, very short tail of 2 strands of red crystal flash, just to stick out the back end. So. And then I'm ribbing this with red copper wire, which I forgot to pull out. Figures it'd be the last one in.
It's the first one you put away.
Yeah. So I'm just using some small red copper wire. It's going to be the rib. So I'm just going to put this down and bring the tying thread back. So the key to getting a proper looking fly is you've got to get the right strung marabou. You're not using woolly bugger marabou. It's the longest strung marabou that you can get, the longest lengths of them. And we're going to tie this in, so I'm going to pull off about half an inch of the marabou, half an inch wide strip of it. So, and And then I'm going to tie it in by the tips, like so. So, and then I'm going to take my thread and bring it forward. Just get rid of those loose ones, and then I'm just going to twist the Maribou, spin it. So, and as I wind it forward out, because I've spun it, you can see the fibers are standing out. So like splaying out like hackle. And then I'm just going to take my copper wire and carefully rib the pattern. And I'm just wiggling it as I'm going through, just try not to lay down too many of those fibers. This fly really does breathe when it's in the water. So.
That particular color is not out in still water stuff, eh?
No, we haven't released it from the vault. No, it's not coming out. You know, I just came across this particular color that I found some feathers from years ago that I liked, and you know, we tie this same pattern in using different colors of Maribou. So even, you know, when I've talked a lot about using baby damselfly nymphs. So we tie a pattern just like this using olive green, light olive green Maribou on a 14, and that's a very effective baby damselfly imitation. So deep maroon, dark maroon, light maroon, this is kind of a medium maroon, even red work. I mean, they'll probably take this fly for a chironomid larvae as well. But this is, I can honestly say that I've caught more big fish on this pattern than any other pattern I've ever fished, and there's nothing to it. But it's fished under an indicator. I love to cast it upwind and drift it back, just keeping a tight line in.
You use a loop knot for it?
And again, a non-slip loop knot to let it pivot.
And you leave the tail that long?
Yep. Excuse me. Yep. Leave the tail long. Just let it.
Have you ever experimented with the color of the bead?
You know, we used to tie them with copper beads. It works. Haven't had much luck with silver. Although if you tie this identical fly with black Maribou and a silver bead, it's a very good combination.
See, I tie something very similar, but I use llama instead of the Maribou, and I use a red bead on it. And with a red bead on it, they go crazy.
Yeah.
You put a gold one on or a copper one on,
They won't.
and it's like, yeah, difference between day and night.
That's
So I don't
it.
know if there's something about the red bead that just seems to.
Yeah, there could be, but you know, so you can, when you look at it at this angle, you can see all it flares out a little wider at the front end. That's what you want, and all those little fibers are breathing when it's undulating through the water. Plus, you've got the tail. You know, very simple pattern, extremely effective. Pardon me?
What color is the bead you're using with the Maribou?
Sorry, I can't hear you.
I'm sorry, what color is the bead that you're using?
This is a gold bead.
Oh, gold.
Yep.
Can you swap it around again to show the profile?
Yep.
What kind of Maribou did you call that?
Just strung Maribou, long strung Maribou. So you've got to, you know, you end up going through a lot of feathers to get ones that are right. Like, I brought 3 of them here that I thought looked pretty good, and I only ended up picking off this one particular one. And so you go through a lot of material, because if it's too skinny, the fly's too skinny. If it's too fat, the fly, you don't get that nice taper to it as well. So you want to tie, you know, I would definitely, if I were you, if you're fishing lakes, tie some of these up and give it a whirl. Send me an email. let me know how many you caught, because I think when you open my fly box when I'm out in the boat, I've got hundreds and hundreds of those in my box. There's a lot of them in there. So.